Give me just 1 second so that I can make sure that our sound is good. My name is Bill Gardner, and I have Gardner Design and Logo Lounge here in Kansas in the United States. And what a pleasure it is to kind of do this. So that you know, Gardner Design is fully involved with branding, which means that we do about 2/3 of the work we do is rebranding. So it's working with larger entities and companies, corporations that have found that they no longer resonate with their clients. And it's from building their websites to creating new logos and identity and just every touch point for them.
Muito bom, eu sou a Nabiohazard, meu nome de verdade é Natália, na verdade. Eu tenho 25 anos, né? Acabei de fazer 25 anos, sou cosplayer e UX designer. Eu trabalho como UX designer e cosplayer é o meu hobby. Já chegou a ser meu trabalho, mas agora é só meu hobby, graças a Deus. Brincadeira. Eu sou uma pessoa muito autêntica, eu me considero muito autêntica, eu sou muito pulso firme e eu sou muito criativa. Eu sempre cresci junto, desenvolvendo minha criatividade junto com a minha mãe e tudo mais, e por isso eu acabei aqui no meio criativo, fazendo cosplay, virando designer, estudando tudo no ramo e tudo mais, tá bom?
My name is Julian Voss Andreae. I'm originally from Germany. I moved 20 years ago. I moved to the United States. My background is in physics. I'm really interested in quantum physics. Before that, I was all into painting and drawing and wanted to become an artist when I was young. But then I was so intrigued by quantum physics that I figured I need to study this because it seems so incredible what I saw, what I read about there, that I wanted to really go to the labs and talk and do it myself and understand this on a deeper level. And so in the year 2000 or so, I did my graduate research in physics and reached a point where I felt like it's time to move on. So I moved to the United States. I actually fell in love with a woman, and I followed her to the United States, and I enrolled in art college and picked up on my old passion for art again. And so I got all into protein structure at that point. I was, I had come across in my research, I learned about biomolecules, and I was blown away how beautiful they are. And so I started out making sculptures based on those biomolecules. And so this evolved over the last two decades, towards more figurative works that were inspired by my research in quantum physics. And so now I'm basically I've been doing this full time since 2004. And now I have a studio here in Portland, a larger studio. We have 5 or 6 co-workers, and we work together as a team on making sculptures. I do mostly design, but then they get welded and built. And so it's been a fun ride so far.
O trabalho que mais impactou minha carreira, eu acredito que foi trabalhar como cosmaker. Porque eu me vi ali numa situação em que eu fui demitida no início da pandemia, então eu tive que me desenvolver bastante, né, como profissional autônoma e aprender a me virar sem ter nenhuma base para isso, simplesmente me jogar no mercado e ver o que acontecia e tentar sobreviver no meio de tudo o que aconteceu. Então eu tive aí 1 ano e amadureci, acho que uns 7 anos em 1 ano, porque eu tive que me virar, né, e fazer acontecer, porque era isso ou simplesmente nem sei o que aconteceria. Então eu tive que virar 10 mulheres em uma só e fazer tudo dentro da minha empresa, desde atendimento até execução e entrega final do produto, delivery, o pós-entrega e tudo mais. Então eu acredito que o que mais me desafiou na minha carreira foi ser cosmaker, tanto que eu não quero fazer de novo.
The artwork that brought the most impact on my career was a work called Quantum Man. I asked myself, how would it be like to be a quantum object like the ones we have been studying in physics? And I thought about me moving through time and space, a walking man as a quantum wave function. And if you think of a quantum wave function, it basically consists out of wave fronts that are perpendicular to the direction of motion. If you move this way, the wave fronts go that way. So I made a stylized walking man out of steel sheets. And then I realized if you look at it from the front or the back, it looks solid, but right from the side, it seems to disappear. And that kind of blew me away and it made a big impact. And that started my career on actually, to also to do artwork as a sustainable profession.
You know, I'm going to give you a couple of examples. One is just having that opportunity. I've never actually worked for anybody. I've always worked for myself. When I graduated from school, I went out applying for a position to design logos, and nobody had a position just to design logos, but I knew that I had a passion for that. So I just started doing freelance work, and out of that, this company has grown. So that was 35 years ago that started. And as you start to think about the projects that I've done in that period of time, or that our group has done in that period of time, certainly some of the more recognizable ones might be for here within the U.S. Kroger is the largest retail store for supermarkets, and we developed their branding and identity for all of their convenience stores across the country, for all of their fuel supplies across the country. As you start to, if you ever flew anywhere on a Boeing 737 plane, you've been flying on a plane that was manufactured here in Wichita, where we're from, and we developed the branding for Spirit, which is the division that makes all of the fuselages for all those planes. If you're familiar with Cessna Citations, that again, part of our branding going into that. We've worked for the NFL, for Facebook, for Google, for Hallmark cards. But we also work for very small companies too. And really, I think that you find that the work that we do is just as succinct and provides as much clarity, whether it's a massive corporation or a small entity.
It's tricky. So my art, I've been evolving quite a bit. So in the early days, it was all about observation. I felt it's critical that I take the ego, the I out, and I'm just the I watching the world and transforming it magically in me without even thinking about it. So that was my earliest process. And I stepped back at the end of the process and looked at it and was like blown away sometimes how coherent it was, even though I didn't put conscious thought into it. Now I've been doing it so many years, and I'm so good with the computer and with all the techniques that I'm very free flowing. I'm kind of juggling around, and I don't even plan my day. I just do whatever I feel like doing, essentially, because there's lots of things that have to be done. And I feel when I know it's the right time to do creative work, I just do it. It's very natural now. Yeah, maybe that answers your question, but it's essentially, I think another big important part is, so what was observation in the old days is now basically expanded into just this incredible, I have this deep passion for everything I see. I just love the creation of the world, all the beings and how it works. And it's just for me mind blowing how beautiful everything fits together. And that beholding that beauty of the world is my main ongoing source of inspiration.
Eu me definiria como uma pessoa extremamente metódica. Eu gosto de seguir passo a passo do processo. Eu tenho uma formação de desenho industrial, então tudo que eu faço é extremamente regido por design de produto e o famoso Bruno Munari, das coisas nascem coisas. Então, todos os meus processos são feitos com base na metodologia de produto e desenvolvimento de produto. Então, desde do research, né, pesquisa de campo, levantamento de problemática, até o desenvolvimento e a entrega final do produto, eu sigo ali os passos certinhos, não como uma fórmula, mas como uma forma de me guiar e explorar as problemáticas e as formas de resolver um problema, vamos dizer assim.
So let me say that I'm really fortunate that I have designers here that are much smarter than I am, and it's a group of about 10 people at any one time here in our studio, and everything from digital designers to identity designers. And when we get into this process, we meet with a client and go through what we call our discovery, which may end up taking a week or a month sometimes, which is really getting to know those objectives of a client and what they want to achieve with their brand. You may not know this about me, but my background is I have both a degree in business as well as a degree in fine arts in design. So it's trying to merge this idea of objective thinking and subjective thinking together, and thinking about design the way that it is valuable to a business. Traditional.
Digital art. It's a new tool, you know, it's the next step. It's wonderful. It's absolutely amazing.
Tradicional.
Mac.
PC. It's much more open and much more easy accessible.
Pelas possibilidades PC.
Streaming.
I mean, it's been COVID, you know, I haven't been in a movie theater in like 1.5 years. I mean, I like them, but I forgot how they are. I haven't been there in so long. Streaming.
Ir ao cinema, disparadamente.
Face to face, definitely.
Same thing like with the movie theater, you know, I think face to face is great and wonderful and special. It's difficult for me because I'm not a very like social person, but it has something. It definitely it shows it has something that is, with all the online meetings, we realize what's missing when we don't meet face to face. So I'd say at the end of the day, face to face is what counts.
Experiência do usuário e presencialmente.
Sketch.
Rascunho sempre.
Sketch. I need to figure out my path. Always.
NFC.
Artifício.
Physical artwork. I love crypto, but I am not in love with NFTs yet.
Equilíbrio entre os dois? Tu não tem como escolher, socorro.
Health meals, of course. It's your body. It's your temple. You don't want to put junk in it.
Coffee. Yeah. You know, two thoughts here. One, I'm going to share a thought that a guy named Tim Biscuit shared with me at one point, which is he had an art director that said, you know, every artist has 10,000 bad drawings in them. The secret is to get all those 10,000 out as quickly as you can so that you can move on to the good drawings, which basically means you have to practice a lot to get there. You know, you're going to get good if you do it a lot. And I think that for any young designer, that if they head into a project and realize that their ideas that they think are brilliant may be pretty trite or cliche, and that they really need to dig deep in order to find those ideas that aren't cliche and aren't trite. The other thing that I would make a comment on, and I will tell you that Logo Lounge, which is the website logolounge.com, which is this resource that we've developed for designers to use, provides tremendous resources. It has over 360,000 logos that have been submitted by their thousands of members around the world to look at. And it's that you need to be aware of what has already been done, because it's going to give you inspiration, but it also tells you, okay, that's been done before. Now we need to evolve that idea and to develop a new level of thinking beyond that. So it's those two ideas, practice, and be aware of what's already been done.
You know, I think it's really important. I mean, the typical message that people get is like, you can do whatever you want. And that, I think that's true. It's really important to have a dream and to realize that everything in this world, everything that's real, has at some point been a dream. So if you don't dream it, and if you don't believe in your dream, it's certainly not going to happen. But that doesn't mean that every time you dream something, it's going to happen, you know? So you have to, it's this weird combination of luck and work. You have to really want it with all your heart. Without that, it's not going to happen. But life is a tricky thing. So, you know, at the end of the day, why are we here? Everybody has to decide that for themselves and figure that out for themselves. And I think an artistic path can be an absolutely important calling, and not doing that, if you have that calling, would be a crime.
O meu recado para artistas que estão aí no começo de sua carreira, tentando se desenvolver e arranjar ali um cadinho de espaço nessa imensidão da área, be yourself, seja você mesmo, ignora o que os outros estão fazendo, tem aquilo como repertório, é sempre muito bom ter repertório, né? Você amplia ali a sua base de conhecimento, mas não use isso como critério para você fazer algo. Seja sempre você mesmo, acredite muito na sua intuição nunca falha, eu tenho certeza. E faça seu trampo sem olhar o corre do outro e se comparar com o corre do outro, porque cada um se desenvolve de uma forma diferente, cada um tem um método diferente, cada um tem um tempo diferente, então faça tudo no seu tempo, da forma que você gosta, da forma que você acredita e da forma que você se sente confortável.